Oh, there we go. I didn't press the record button and I was going into my intro. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you everyone for being here, for clicking on the video, for showing up, stopping by, coming on through. Today we're going to begin, yes I said begin, our album listen. Gary Numan, The Pleasure Principle. This is his debut album, 1979. Many of you have recommended this album, so I'm very, very happy to listen. We have listened in the past to Two-Way Army with the album Replicas. Go and find that somewhere on the channel. And after listening to that album, many of you said listen to his debut album. Many of you said listen to a lot of different things, but primarily the debut album. So I'm very excited to go ahead and to listen to it. This is not an album I've had on my list because I have albums on my list. I know some of you tried to pause it and tried to look. Don't look. Don't be sneaking. But I know that's... I've been trying to do a bunch of albums, and this is one of them that, even though it's not on the list, I remembered it, and I was like, oh yeah, I do want to listen to that. So we're going to go ahead and listen to that. We're going to start off with the first track, Airlane. And before we jump into it, let me just call out a few names who have recommended this album. Now, I believe, and you can always correct me if I'm wrong, AK, you have kind of spearheaded the recommendation and suggestion for this album, so thank you, AK. I got to do it. Fortune Agent, I see you as well. Joe Marone, thank you as well. Peter Demultica Campbell. Telexu Eyes, I'm going to mispronounce some of your names. I'm so sorry. There is also some talk of Mr. Fox from Ultravox and listening to some music from him as well. But that's not what we're doing today. Ronaldo Favoretto, and the list goes on and on and on. John the Beloved. It goes on for a little bit. Anyways, so let's go ahead and start off with the first track. I've talked enough. I've spoken too much. Let's let the music speak, and then we will get our chance to speak afterwards. Let's begin. Airlane. Boom. That's that cyberpunk. You hear the growl of that bass? Smooth it out. That's a catchy riff, though. is a really, really nice setup. This is really setting up the setting for what I would presume is the sound of the rest of the album. It's synthy, it's extremely catchy, very melodic. That main synth line that drives and thrives throughout the whole track, ba-na-na, ba-na-na, just sounds really good. It just floats throughout this track, right? And then I love the inclusion of like that very growly bass tone that occurs every once in a while. Just kind of it sounds stupid the way I'm doing it, but that's the best way I can think of actually mimicking the sound. It's like but then it smooths back out. I just like that little dynamic. And then the drumming is fantastic as well. On the drums here is going to be Cedric Sharpley. Really, really like his drumming, just really driving everything home, going from the 16th notes back into that main groove. It's simply played, but it's perfectly played for the mood that we're being set in here. Now looking at this, like I said, this is obviously an instrumental opening and intro for the album, but let's dive into some of the information here on the Wikipedia page. There's no lyrics to go over, so let's spend a little bit more time together going over some of this other info here so we can get some ideas behind the album. Following Replicas, Numan recruited a permanent drummer and keyboard player and demoed an album's worth of new material. This was before the single Our Friends Electric from Replicas was released. A second session that yielded 4 further songs follows some weeks later. So he's in his creative peak. I don't know, but according to this, he's in that recording mood where everything's just kind of flowing out of him. It says, the day after Our Friends Electric reached #1 on the UK singles chart, Numan and his band recorded 4 of the new songs in a session for John Peel, credited to Gary Numan, and dropping the group name Two Boy Army. By the time Replicas reached #1 on the albums chart, The Pleasure Principle was being recorded in London. So he already had his eyes gazed into other planes. And also, just gotta say, looking at this album cover, it's one of those album covers that's like perfectly obtuse. Like there's something off about the way he's looking at this pyramid is suspicious. There's a little bit of a tension between him and the pyramid, huh? What's that called? The Judas Cradle? Was that what that thing was called? I think it's called the Judas Cradle. Why did I bring that up? But he's looking at that thing kind of suspiciously. He's feeling kind of sussy about that baka. Anyways, I like it. Let's go ahead and move on to the next track. But that'd be this track for today. Come and join me tomorrow. We'll move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. Anyways, please let me know what you thought of this in the comments down below. You can follow me on Twitter, support the channel on Patreon. Thank you as always for being here. And I'll see you all later. I don't know why I did that. Bye.